What's up, people? Welcome to the Dutchman's Train Shack. Okay, so today's program. Da-da-da-da. Okay, so what I'm doing here is a failure to make a mess. No, can of gaps and cracks. All right, so I made a tunnel up here. You see it's sitting there. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna spray some of this on the sides. I'll have to get in the trap door here in a bit, but there's a reason why I'm doing that. One is, um, it does this stuff is pretty good to try and carve out. I thought about using a cray paper, but the problem with that is it's hard to manipulate. Manipulate, get it? The word manipulate. Isn't that what the politicians are doing? Is manipulating. Okay. Anyway, it's hard to create mountains out of it. So here's what I'm doing is I'm spraying this in, and it does expand a lot. I'll spray this on, let it set a little while, just enough to get hard. Then I'll come back and I'll shave it off. I'll carve it and to where I want to shape it, and then I'll do the mountains with plaster of Paris and paper towels. But first, I've got to get this glued down. We'll see what this does. These things are always a mess. So that was the other thing. I should be wearing gloves because it gets sticky. Oh, yeah. Okay. Okie dokie. So now, I'm just trying to fill the gap. The gap. Oh, cheers. Cheers. Okay, so now I've got to get under the whole thing. I got to move these things, otherwise I'm gonna kill myself here. Okay. Oh, hello there. Hello there. Hello. Okay, so and the beat goes on. Okay, so it's kind of a sticky situation. Okay, so now got that in there, and fire the hose. Oh, I look like a snake. Look at that. See? There we go. That's what I'm talking about. So now, that's not what I'm talking about. Shit. Okay, so now the idea here, that's the whole thing. Okay, so the idea here is let this expand and dry, and then I'll carve it out with a knife or the Dremel tool, and then I might get another can and add up here a little bit more. But the idea is, now I was gonna use styrofoam too, but it's messier, and I'll get out, then I glue it, and I have to glue, it's just a pain. So I'm trying to make this look like an old mine. So the idea here was to make the hole look like it's just all rock and not a front. So what's that thing right here? So, and there's nothing in here now. So what I'll do, and normally I use gloves with this stuff because it's nasty. It gets on your hands, and unless you use paint thinner or something, it's a pain to get off. Okay, so you see the train there, right? Okay, so this train right here is what is going to go be in here, up in this tunnel. Tunnel low. See what I'm doing? She's got freaking on. Okay, so what I'll do is take another can, build it up a little bit higher because I want to get it like this from about here up, slope it down. And this part right here might have a little bit more than this part back here, but I'm going to do the same thing here. So I'm going to build this up, and I'm going to use I might use styrofoam on this side a little bit because it's so big. I want to build it up and then put a Forest Service station up in here, and make it look like a mountain, like the Rocky Mountains or something. The one thing I blew it on was this hole. I didn't make it big enough. Fat boy can't fit it in it. Anyway, I've got to get down to here. Hang on, I'll come out. Oh. Oh my God. Stand by. I gotta go dump this in the trash can. Okay, so cheers. Okay, so what my mission here is to build a mountain back there. So how do you do it? You got to get creative. I'm sitting here thinking, why am I using this stuff instead of using the foam? Because see, what I'm going to do is layer it with plaster of Paris and paper towels. Oh yeah, that's cool. Oh, for the gnomes. The gnome's nose. I could make it for the gnomes. I could put little gnomes out there. Yeah. They'd be awful small though. Well, I've got HO too, by the way. Right up here is my HO steam locomotive. And down on the ground here, that's all HO houses and HO track and trains in there. Um, and then that's on top of my Lionel and Lionel. I got. Okay, so, but my collection, I started over the years. Okay, so here's my collection. Some of you have already seen it, probably. Okay, so I got a lot of this. You say this right here is a pretty extensive collection. I've collected over the years, and a lot of it is special stuff. Now, this train is called the crocodile train from Switzerland. It is from Switzerland. That's a European train, as is most of that on there, on that top layer. That's mostly European stuff. In fact, it's all in that one. This whole aisle is all European. I have some other ones scattered about here. Oh, by the way, Germany makes a lot of these model trains. And so a lot of this stuff I got is from Germany. There's a guy that's in Elburn, is Raymond's, Renault's models. He ships all over the world. He's got everything. This guy's awesome. He's in a small building, but he's supposed to be expanding. But I don't usually have a problem getting stuff from him. It's great. So I get a lot of the fire trucks from him. Where are they? There's a couple in here somewhere. A lot of this stuff I got from him. I get people, cows, farms. You know, a lot of the buildings they got have that set up. Who we got on there? Hey, Arjun. Arjun, I don't know how you say your name, but I'm sorry, but nice to meet you. Thanks for checking in. Markland, yeah. Well, Walthers and Atlas were a lot of what people use, but you'd be surprised that I think both of those are made, or one of those is made in Germany too. I got books in here somewhere. But like, a lot of this stuff here is these are old books, and I go buy a lot of them. It's helpful tips. I've got a whole layout for stuff like that. Now here's the key though: having the right people to go to. It's like my Mustang. You have to specialize. So you do the research, and you come across the guys that'll sell this stuff. European models are notoriously more expensive. It's kind of like going to Ace versus Lowe's. But the problem is, a lot of times you can't find things in a regular hobby shop as you can with a European train. I get catalogs from them, and I can go through and get stuff that a lot of the manufacturers here in America don't make. So, especially for Engage, that's the problem. Engage is really particular about what they sell. So, trying to, and then you got to be able to be smart and make your own thing up. Like for instance, when I make this lake over here, all right, the problem with this lake is I've got to make a dock, and then I got to figure out a person that's fishing. So I'm trying to find one person that looks like he's fishing. You know how that's really hard. I mean, really hard to try and find out. So, I should write a book on train layouts. Okay, so for instance, when I was laying this out, all right, two things I did wrong right off the bat, and I didn't think about it until afterwards, was I used the foam board on this. Now, the foam board is okay. The styrofoam, you can actually cut it. I've got one of those styrofoam cutters where it's an electric one and you can cut it and kind of form it out. But it's soft. All right. So what you should do is wherever you lay your track, it should be on plywood or something hard. Because what happens is I end up using glue 2/3 of it. Like this one here was a pain. I had to glue a section on, pin it down because I couldn't get it to go in right without it moving. Tape it down and let it dry a couple days. Do the same thing here. Foam board, and I did screw up right here. So, but this will be all taken care of when it comes to the ballast. You won't see that. Um, I had a lot of these things right here. That helps me out. Okay, so what I did there is exactly what I want, and I want it to just form overnight because it usually takes a while when it expands. Now, I'll tell you one thing with this stuff. All right, this foam you don't want to use for sealing up windows and doors with because it expands. If you put it into cracks, a lot of people like to do this to keep the air out from in between the windows. It's coming through. If you can feel cold air coming through your um, rough opening and your framework or your window, if you pull your trim off, like the same thing with a door, don't use that stuff because it'll expand and push out the framework. Not the rough opening, but it'll expand and push out your rough work of your window and door. So you don't want to use that to fill in the gap for wind. What happens is the older houses had this issue where a lot of the frames, a lot of the windows were put in didn't have that foam around it. It has a little bit of it's like the insulation that you would use in your attic. So if you take the trim off in your house and the inside or the outside, what you could do is take some caulking or some of that liquid nails. I prefer caulking because it expands and contracts. You put liquid nails in there, you might have a problem. So if you put clear caulking in there, and then or foam, if you could get the stuff to fit, and let it dry, and then put the trim back on, you're good to go. 99% of the time that works. Trust me, I was in the trades all my life. I know what I'm talking about. Well, you'd think I would after doing this, and I'm like, I screwed up. I do that too on my turning. Oh, by the way, for those that didn't know, yesterday I was at Batavia for the farmers market in Arch Row. And if the person that's watching tonight, thank you, that bought one of my bowls. That one that I sold you was one of my pride and joys. I do a lot of segmenting, and it's difficult, and not everybody likes segmenting. They like a piece of raw wood with a lot of grain in it. So I'm experimenting with a lot of stuff. I get crazy. I do resin work, and I do sawdust, sawdust Christmas tree, sawdust bowls. But for the most part, I make something I think that's practical that people can use. They're my buddies that are in my club that we're doing. They had a booth down there too. They do excellent work, and I'm right there with them. In fact, a lot of them have helped me over the years do my own stuff. But a lot of it is you're buying an art piece, so you're buying something to put on your mantle, which is worth it versus practicality. So that's what makes it hard to do woodworking sometimes. So, but anyway, usually what I do with this stuff is I like to do this in the wintertime when it's cold and miserable because the shop is out there and everything's connected. So right now, I had this cleaned up. Now it's a mess. I can tell you right now, the biggest problem you'll have with a train set is your wiring. The more complicated you make it, the worse it gets. I actually thought about turning this into the Dutchman's train layout, but And let me know when you guys want to talk trains, whatever you guys want to talk about. I have my I like doing everything. I actually have RC cars too. So there you go. It's my HDAD kicking in. The wife will say that. Oh yeah. Here's to you. Anyway, the plan I have, it's all in my head. That's the other thing. This is going to have mountains. The idea here is to try and do a landscape around the backside of that hole so you never see it. If I build them high enough, I think I'll be okay. But the question is, how do I build them? See, that's the other thing. Now I got this thing here. What I plan on doing once it dries, I think this stuff dries in 6 hours, hard enough for you to carve. If you do it right, you won't have to worry about a lot of the wait time and gluing and stuff. It just got to fool with it. This one here, because it's so open and so big, I might have to do styrofoam there. I don't know. I could get to this over here instead of going through the trap door. It's just that one section in the back, and they have a hard time doing. So, if you have questions and comments, I'll be turning next week. I have a lot of things going on. Tuesday or Wednesday, I'll probably come online and do some turning for you. I have some wood I've been saving up. It should be cured enough. I don't know. We'll see, because I haven't bought a lot of wood lately. And I'm also working on a piece of furniture. So again, to the people who bought stuff, both glass and the woodworking, I appreciate it. Thank you. It shows that you like my stuff. That's I mean, I try to make it priced reasonably. I'm not gouging people. I love doing what I do. I love doing this. I'm retired, but I also need to make some extra money to take care of stuff. I'm on a fixed income, so there you go. Well, I want to say that's probably the truth for everybody now. We're all on fixed incomes, right? Okay, so question for you right now, though. See, now right here, this is soft. And that's a problem for me right here. When I go to put whatever I'm going to put on here, so I still got to build roads and stuff. That'll be interesting. Um, but what I'm interested in, you guys, what do you guys like to see? What would you guys like to see the Dutchman throw out there? Hey, no, I'm not taking my clothes off. Somebody put that on here once. So, and I think the way the thing is set up is that YouTube goes through or whatever they have. It's like Facebook. If you say something that doesn't jive with their stuff on their algorithms, out you go. So, okay, so here's another thing for you. All right, I'll throw a question at you right now. Okay, so what species of tree, what type of tree is the biggest in the world? Okay, so what type of tree is the biggest in the world? And when I'm through here tonight, if somebody gets it right, I'm going to do a contest one day where somebody gets it right. You can have one of my dopey snowmen. No, I'm just kidding. Ah, there's two people on here I have to thank the most for. They're not only good customers of mine, but they're great friends. Mary Pat and Greg, love you guys. All right, thank you for your support. I really mean it. It's tough. So tomorrow's D-Day for me. So we'll see. Anyway, enough discussion on that. All of you out there, I'd love for you guys to just hang out with me. It's Sunday. Maybe you can have your own favorite beverage. We can talk about food too. Some of my friends on their lives, they do that. Oh, I welcome that. I don't know what time it is now. Everybody's probably busy, but I've got to let that sit. And I just realized I have to go get more foam. So, and I might just work on this though. But anyway, I love you guys. I'm going to let you guys go until whenever I get back on. God bless you guys. Have a great rest of your weekend. And don't let the politics get you down because it's never going to change. It hasn't changed in 50 years. So, anyway, God bless you guys. God bless the USA. Oh, yeah, by the way, this is American made. See you later, alligator.